What's up? It's Jeremy Picker from Amber Creative.
This is Deanna with In the Zoning and Print Girl Mafia.
This is Ray Weiss with Printing the Night of the Lion.
You're listening to the Two Regular Guys podcast.
Hosted by Terry Combs RG, Regular Guy, and Aaron Montgomery.
The place to be for industry news.
The best dad jokes on earth, along with relevant topics to apparel decorators.
Fashion to the people.
Show. It is Friday, December 5th, 2025. I'm Terry Combs, and you can find me at terrycombs.com.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery from our Success Group and American Print and Supply. And Terry, we're going to welcome back a good friend, Angie, who's going to be talking about networking that actually works for decorators. We've had Angie on several times, and always a jam-packed show full of golden nuggets. You got the blank yellow legal pad ready?
I am ready. Junior legal pad in hand.
Junior yellow legal pad in hand. We wouldn't know what to do with ourselves otherwise. So yeah, really looking forward to talking to Angie again. Angie's such an awesome person. I got to spend some time chatting with her a bit out in Orlando at Printing United, and some cool stuff that she's a part of. But she's like, every time I talk to her, she's like, I just want to share. Right, this is what I've learned. She's a business owner like the rest of you guys out there, and she's just so free with the information, right? Like, and I think that's kind of the era that we're getting to here finally, Terry. I don't know, maybe this makes us old, but I definitely remember when I came in, everybody just had to hold it so close to the vest that it's interesting to see that shit.
Back in my production days, it was, people having the secrets of screen printing.
You're like, yeah, we've been doing that.
You're just pulling squeegee.
Yeah, we've been doing that thing for years. Yep, absolutely.
Exactly. All right, make sure you hang in there for the secret sauce today, wherein our Eric Campbell will help you dig into daunting designs for embroidery, digitizing without all the dread. I don't know, Aaron, does that sound like something that Eric would have written?
That could have been something Eric would have written, but it's digitizing without the dread. Yes, please sign me up. I'll take one of those and one of my peppermint mocha drinks here. So that we're good.
Well, look at you. You have water.
Sorry, it's peppermint mocha season, Terry. People get excited about the pumpkin spice latte thing.
I have never had pumpkin spice in my life. So did we just lose listeners?
Yeah, I don't want to, but boy, peppermint season, I get excited about that. So. All right. Well, Terry, we also have the news from Cassie Green from the Apparelist. So if you're ready to dive into that, and then we can come back and chat with the regulator too.
Oh, let's do, and let's see how Cassie likes the dad joke after.
Hello, regulators from snowy Colorado. I hope you all had an absolutely wonderful Thanksgiving and are ready to rock these final weeks of 2025. I've got some headlines to share with you all today. First up, Gildan announces completion of Hanesbrands acquisition. On December 1st, 2025, Gildan announced that it has completed the previously announced acquisition of Hanesbrands Inc. In August of 2025, Gildan dropped the major news that it planned to acquire Hanesbrands. The transaction implied an equity value of approximately $2.2 billion and an enterprise value of approximately $4.4 billion for Hanesbrands, based on the closing price of Gildan common stock on August 11th, 2025. While many details of the acquisition have not been shared, Gildan's president and CEO, Glenn Chamandy, notes that at this point, the focus is on a smooth integration. There hasn't been a lot of other information shared, so keep in the know with apparelist.com so that way you can get the latest details as more of that unfolds. Second headline for everybody this morning, Superior Inc.'s move to Fountain marks new era of community support. Earlier in 2025, Superior Inc. founder and CEO Dominic Rosacci made the decision to move the physical location of the business to Fountain, Colorado. Rosacci says that Superior Inc. was up and running in about 3 weeks after closing on the new location, and at this stage, they are fully operational. The new location not only serves as a better physical spot to do all the things Superior does, but the team decided to launch Built for the Community, a monthly program designed to support local small businesses through complimentary custom apparel. And finally, this morning, the Fall 2025 Soda Survey is open for participation. Apparelist, along with Printing United Alliance, is currently conducting the next round of our State of the Decorated Apparel survey. The Soda Survey is a way that we can understand the apparel decorating community better, from sales to trends, and all of the things about blanks and equipment, and what challenges the industry is facing. We report these numbers back to the industry along with identified opportunities to improve your business. Participants do receive a complimentary report, but more importantly, your voice helps everyone build a better community. So I really encourage everybody to participate in that in the shared link. Thanks so much, everybody, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful Friday.
With the amounts that have the B word in it, billions, right? Like billions. I like that.
Yeah, everybody get out there and participate in that survey. I tell you what, over the years, surveys like this I use to help plan for my coming year, and that's what we're going to be talking about next week.
Absolutely. Yeah, looking forward to that. All right. Well, thank you, Cassie, for delivering the news. And again, like she said, make sure that you follow along at apparelist.com, and you'll get more great information. They've always got a ton of wonderful content over there, and Cassie leads that charge, and they do a great job. So, yeah. All right. Well, let's see who we've got checking in here this morning, Terry. First off, my son Keegan saying good morning, Keegster. Hello, good morning, sir. And Mr. Chuck Peterson. Chuck, hello, how are you? Kingsbury Craft checking in this morning. I love the little emojis. I know that's not the emoji they used on their side, but for whatever reason, in the side here on Evie Bucks, you get this funny little person waving there. So I don't know. Anyhow, and then who else we got here? There we go. Thank you, Eric. Martha Taylor. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for being here. So you guys make sure that you take a moment here real quick and go share this with your communities. Just share it on your social media feeds so we can have we want to have you guys participate in the questions here for Angie as well. So you've got somebody who's got a wealth of information that she's willing to share. So Terry and I obviously have some questions we want to ask, but we really want to make this a conversation, Terry. That's kind of,
yeah,
we
absolutely.
always do better that way, don't we?
we do indeed.
Yeah.
But before we do that, you are going to share a dad joke that luckily Keegan's here because it's his joke.
Yeah. We were talking about dad jokes in a text message, and I asked him if he had any good dad jokes, and he said, not right now, but I'll get back to you. And he got back to me, and this is what he got. And I thought it was hilarious. So I am ready when you are, Terry.
All right, let's do it.
All right, Terry. Well, what do you call it when you cross a dinosaur with a pig?
I don't know. What do you call it when you cross a dinosaur with a pig?
Jurassic pork.
I definitely LOL'd on that one when
yeah. And
over.
We know when we get Eric to do the head shake, maybe a little palm slap. It's dad joke approved, because that's the whole point, you guys. That's the
Well, I tried it out on Kim, and I got the dull stare, so I thought, oh yeah, this is a winner.
Yep, very good. Normally, when I share these with my wife, and I get the wow, is like, really? That's it? Yeah, I'm like, yep, that's it. That's my level.
You understand what a dad joke is, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Before we dive in, we want to thank everybody for checking out the Two Regular Guys podcast. We need your voices still. We would love to have all the regulators participate in our show intros. Go to osg.link/intro, read a few sentences, and be a part of every show. Don't be left out. We are always looking for new guests. So if you or anyone you know would like to join us, go to calendly.com/2, the number 2, regular guys to book a future episode, or you can email us at info@tworegularguys.com with your show ideas. If you are listening to the podcast version of the show, we would appreciate you sharing the Two Regular Guys podcast with all of your industry friends so they can become regulators too. We would appreciate you giving us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcast, YouTube Podcast, wherever you do your podcast listening, we are there. And if you're watching us live, as Aaron said, please join in with your comments and your questions.
Absolutely. And yes, Terry, we've got a lot of places where we're at. So wherever you're listening to podcasts, get out there. I know I made that list pretty long for Terry, but all right.
Oh, good.
Well, Terry, are we ready to get Angie in here?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's bring her in.
All right. Hey, Angie, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. So I've avoided your last name because I have not asked her. So help me make sure I get it right. I'm sure I'm overthinking it.
It's Meese.
It is me. Okay, good. That's what I thought, but I was then started second guessing myself, and that's when it goes downhill. So
Don't do that.
I know. Hey, I'm learning. I'm working on it.
I was actually last night. I was kind of skimming through our outline, and I saw Angie's last name, and I thought, oh, Aaron's going to trip over this again.
I know. Thank you. Thanks. And then you didn't say anything. All right.
I know.
This is what good friends do. All right, you guys. Angie, welcome in. And again, we've talked about the fact that you've been with us several times already. Always amazing stuff. But for anybody that's new or just kind of getting to know you still, give us a little bit of your story. I know, like I said, you're in the throes of this. Plus, you're doing some other cool stuff. Obviously, we can see it behind you there. So, give us your journey and yeah, kind of a little 101 on Angie here.
Okay, so 5 years ago, I started my t-shirt company. It started out, took my daughter shopping, didn't like what we were finding on the shelves. I have a girl, she was in 6th grade, and she's that in-between stage where you can't put her in the little kids' clothes. We don't fit in children's place anymore, but we can't go shopping at Buckle. So we're in this like weird in-between stage.
Yeah.
And I just said, we want shopping. And I got frustrated and I said, that's fine. I'm just buying a sublimation printer. I'm going to make my own stuff. I had a Cricut for about 2 weeks before I was ready to chuck the thing out the window because I don't weed. I don't want to weed anything. I was sitting there trying to do it, and I was like, no, we're not doing this. So sublimation printer, converted Epson printer, like $100. Cosmos ink, what was it at that time? $40.
Yeah.
At that time. And, sublimation paper, Cosmos sublimation paper too. And we were up and running in less than a week. Just the shipping time. That's what we were waiting on. And then I don't even know what happened. It was a crazy turn of events where I decided a month before Impressions in Atlantic City that I was going. I meet Aaron, I meet Terry. There's a DTG bought from Equipment Zone, and I start just cranking some shirts out. And the first year was a blur. The second year, I hit 6 figures, and then from there, it's just been teaching opportunities, joining UX Print, which is the stuff behind me here, joining a company in the industry, Blank Wholesale Company, and becoming a sales consultant for them. And then I would say there was a break in between someplace in this 5 years, but there was not. And we just keep going.
Nice.
Well,
all right.
Yeah, that's incredible. And 5 years is a short window of time to do all the different things that you've done. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Our subject today is networking. So what role has networking played in your success, your growth in the industry?
It's funny that we settled on networking for this subject because we just got done with Orlando with Printing United, and we're getting ready for Impressions in Long Beach. And I would not be sitting here on any of these podcasts had it not been for me networking at my first event, meeting Aaron, getting my DTG printer from Equipment Zone, and everything just happened through conversation and relationship building. And that's just kind of where it started. I think when I first talked to Aaron, he was like, "Hey, I have a podcast." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, that's cool." And I didn't do
Hey,
anything
doesn't
for a
everybody?
while.
Yeah, doesn't everybody? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, "Oh, okay. That's nice. But I can't talk on this because I've been here less than a year." And I just kind of sat with it for a minute. And then when I was ready to rock and roll, then I start, blowing up your podcast schedule here. And I'm just like, "Hey, I'm coming on." And that's just kind of, how the networking started is I walked in a room of people, and now you guys don't see me before I come on the podcast. I get here, I have my Monster. We got Monster. I get all amped up for it, but before I get on the podcast, I'm a normal person. I am at UX Print right now. I group tech. I'm at corporate office right now. I was pacing up and down, walking around. I'm like, okay, I gotta get till 5 minutes before we have to go on. So I'm a normal person like everyone else. I have to get amped up to go into these rooms, into the trade shows, walking into seminars. I am a homebody until the camera gets turned on or until I'm in a room of people. And then up until I walk into the room, I'm like this quiet, laid back, little shy person. And then we just get in here and it's like, bam, here we go. This is what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, not everybody can be like Terry. So, I feel the same way.
I just got out of bed. No, just
Yeah,
kidding.
Terry just rolls in. He's going to talk to anybody. Terry, I think you're going to like my father-in-law, before he passed away. I used to always tease him and I'm like, "You've never met a stranger, have you?" And that's a skill, right? Like he's like best friends with somebody he's never met before 30 seconds into the conversation. So I think
He's
you're
a
gonna like
time
that.
traveler. That's what he is. He
Exactly.
travels back in time. He meets everybody, and
Yeah,
that's
that's
how
right.
he just shows
That's
up
right.
and he knows everybody.
Yeah. Well, there's
There
science
are
to
stories, but this is a morning show.
that. Yeah, that's right. I love that letting people off the hook. I mean, honestly, I'm the same way. We've been doing this for 13 going on 14 years now. And before the show, right, I do this. I think I learned this from like a Tony Robbins documentary, just whoosh, let's get the good energy over the top and kind of take a deep breath and ready to go. So Angie, I want to talk to you a little bit about kind of, I know we've talked some about how you kind of get prepared. But for example, Printing United, right? That was a big show.
Yes.
You had a booth there. You're part of a booth. You were working. I'm sure you had people on your list, right? Who you're going to talk to, that kind of thing. But when we think about networking, we think about like going to like a BNI or something like that. But honestly, we're always networking, right? An event and things like that.
Mhm.
So what's your strategy for kind of getting prepared before like a big event? Whether that's a Pretty United big event or you're just going to your local kind of craft market, but that's a big event for people, right? So give us your strategy there, Angie.
Get the map. The map is your key to success. Get the map, highlight it, write it down, screenshot it. I don't care what you have to do with it. I used to print them out and then I lose everything because I have ADHD like nobody else. So I'll set it down like in the refrigerator before I leave and I'll be like, where's my map at? So now I have it on my phone and I go through and I highlight everything. So all my I color code stuff. I'm such a female. It's sickening funny. But I go there and I'm like, okay, the pinks are the people that I have to talk to. And then the green are the ones that I see that we have potential in either working a relationship with, or there's a deal that I'm trying to get closed up with those people. And then a yellow is just kind of like, hey, I need to touch base with these people. I haven't seen them in a while. Let me just like see where they're at in business and just kind of see how we're gonna like what category we're gonna put them into. And then I have a purple highlighter. You can't see anything through it. I call that's my highlighter of places that don't pertain to me necessarily. So I put a little dot beside them. I don't highlight them completely out. Places that don't pertain to me and my business necessarily, but I think that there's other people in the industry that could use them as a resource. And I just kind of, those are my back pocket kind of people. So if someone says, hey, do you know someone that can make me vinyl stickers? That's not in my business model, but I can see where it could fit into someone else's business model easily.
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah.
So be prepared. Yeah.
Well, and if you haven't been to a trade show before, we'll give you day one to walk around with your mouth agape and going, oh my gosh, there's a lot of stuff here. But after that, yeah, have a plan, have it laid out. I used to take all my production floor supervisors to Printing United when it was SGIA, and everybody had an assignment. Not just going to go there and walk around, not just going to go there and have beers after the show. Here's your assignment. And when we get back, everybody's going to give their report on this subject or that subject or this piece of equipment. But yeah, have a plan. You're right. Cause you can spend a lot of time just looking up and down the aisles and staring at things that that are not part of your business as well. So, but, we talk about kind of diving in and you have that personality, even though you say that you're quiet and reserved. But what are some of the networking mistakes that you see decorators and suppliers make?
Probably just handing out business cards. I'm all for handing out business cards. But it's not a raffle. You're not trying to hand them out to everybody. You're trying to be selective on who you're handing them out to. Because they will contact you, and watch your scans because your inbox will blow up.
Mm-hmm.
So my first trade show was Atlantic City, Impressions in Atlantic City. And I was scanning everything. They were giving out free samples. I came home. I had to actually have someone drive to Atlantic City from New Philadelphia, Ohio, because I flew there. And I didn't realize I was coming home with a heat press. I was very quickly after that coming home with that's when the DTG printer was delivered when I was actually at the expo, and the samples. I was like, yes, I want this shirt. I want that shirt. But there were so many things that I brought home that I had to call one of my friends and be like, hey, listen, go to my house, get my Forerunner. I will pay for everything, but like, I'm at the Hard Rock Hotel and I need you to come here because I just bought a whole bunch of stuff. So have a plan for who you want to talk to. Be specific about your scans. Set up an alternate email account. So those scans can go into that email account and you can look through it as you need stuff or as you want to. Make sure you put it on your phone. Make sure you don't just leave that email account on your laptop. Make sure you program it into your phone too so you can see. But I find sometimes we get bombarded after the trade show with a bunch of emails. So I would just go into it and not try to tackle everything on day one.
Yeah. You can always put stuff now that you know everybody, you can put stuff on the Image Armor truck and, hey, can you guys take this heat press home for me? I'll swing by and pick it up next week.
Exactly. Yes. We'll put it in the container. It's fine.
Yeah. Let's get a couple comments here. Doug, our friend Doug Quinn, Terry said, how many successful small businesses started with a hard charger saying, I don't know what happened. Right? True. And then Ramona said, I have a show email. I think it's a really great idea. I mean,
yeah.
I've got about 27 different email addresses already. So I don't know if I need an additional one, but I like that idea to
Just one
kind of
more.
separate things quickly and easily for you.
Well, I like the emails I get when I'm working a show and it says, "Hey, we talked in my booth and I wanted to discuss whatever with you." And I'm thinking, no, I didn't leave. I didn't even have lunch. I didn't leave my booth to talk to anybody. So you just sent me the form email.
All right. So Angie, for people, right? Ramona says, Aaron, what's one more email? Why not, right? So my son already gives me a hard time about how much time I spend in my email. So I'm like, well, it's less time than you spend on Instagram or wherever he's at these days, TikTok or whatever. Well, okay. So to Terry's point there, right? Follow up and we're talking about maybe like what the trade shows that we go to, right? So you're going out there and you're meeting people that are interested in UX prints or whatnot. But the same thing happens for people when they're out there. We were talking on Wednesday morning with that group, Angie, where, going to these events, whether that's a local craft fair or, kind of vendor event or something like that, it's not always about selling your stuff, right? And in fact, a lot of times the real value is in the networking, which we're talking about here today. But as Terry mentioned, a lot of people struggle with that follow-up, right? How do you kind of get away from that? Hey, I talked to you in my booth when you didn't really like, how do you make it not sound salesy, but keep building on that relationship from that point of meeting somebody?
So when I first came into the industry, everything had to be professional. I'm a female in the industry. I know what I'm up against. And I have to have everything professional. You don't you have to be real. You don't have to be professional. That's the fine line there, is people have to be able to relate to you. If you are sitting there being the most professional, well-written, like you're going to apply to Harvard College and it has to be a perfect intro. It doesn't. People have to relate to you. People have to see you as a person. I make mistakes. You guys make mistakes. They make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. But you have to build the relationship and then let your personality take it to the next level. Because that's who people remember. They remember how they were treated. They don't remember necessarily what the price of your item was. They don't remember what colors or what cool features it has or any of that stuff. But they'll be like, oh yeah, that one guy or that one girl that I talked to at this one booth. And then, it kind of jogs their memory a little bit. So just be yourself, be authentic and be yourself. And that's where I found the most success. Those first emails that I wrote, even when I first came to UX, those first emails that I wrote, I was not getting, they would get open, but they wouldn't get clicks. They wouldn't get, anything. And then I just kind of was like, you know what, we're throwing that out. We're writing these emails, like I'm going to write them to Aaron or like I'm going to write them to Terry or anyone else that I know in the industry that I'm friends with. And it's just going to be a friendly, fun email. And that's what I've seen the best results with.
Yeah. When I scan people at shows, a lot of people are putting down interested in DTF printer or interested in this. I put a note in there and say, we talked about the fact that they're from Johnson City, Tennessee, and that's where my parents grew up. That's my note.
Yes.
And so when I reach out, we have that conversation and it reminds them, oh, I remember that person, because all of us, we think we're going to remember every single person. Then you look at the name going, who was that? Because, you've got 100 scans that you're looking at, or, I don't necessarily do 100 scans, by the way. I only scan people that seem to be serious about purchasing something. Some big people come by your booth just because they're interested in the concept or something. So I may not scan you, and because you don't need another email from somebody that you're not going to buy anything from. So, but moving on from there, a lot of small businesses feel intimidated by the big companies. So how can small shops build relationships that feel just as powerful as those big distributors, those big vendors?
Well, I think it's two-sided. So the big vendors, I've watched the transition happen where it used to be almost like if you have a small shop, I'll talk to you, but I want to talk to this person that's running, 100,000 shirts in a month. And I've seen a transition to people realizing that the small shops are growing shops and they are investing more time in the smaller shops that show potential, eagerness, compassion, willingness to learn, the ones that are asking questions. And that's kind of where you need to be with the bigger vendors, is that you ask the right questions, which is any question you have. You show interest. You are upfront with them. If you're only printing 5 shirts a day, then you're only printing 5 shirts a day. But if you say, hey, I'm looking to scale and I want to print 50 shirts a day or 100 shirts a day, and I'm looking to scale this, and this is the equipment or the service that I'm looking to achieve that, I think they're a lot more willing to talk to you, both at the trade show and outside the trade show. If you walk into the booth and you're like, oh, this is cool, I print 5 shirts a day, and you kind of give them a high five and you walk out and you really don't share anything about your business, they don't know about your business. You own your business, you be proud of your business, you go in there, however small or larger business is, if you guys are having a great year, if it's not been a great year, you just go in there and just kind of be like, hey, this is where I'm at, give them a little background information, because as sales consultants, not everyone is a good fit for a product. And
Yep.
it's our responsibility to say, hey, listen, what you're doing is awesome and amazing. Our product might not be a great fit for you, but let me walk you over to some place that is a great fit for you. Like if, for example, iGroup Tech has pre-treatment and pre-treatment machines. Our Viper machine is absolutely amazing. I love it. But if you don't want to do anything that has to do with the DTG, I need to walk you over to somewhere that has a DTF printer, because that's where you need to be. Me selling you something that you don't necessarily understand or know about, and I don't think it's going to be a good fit for your business or where you're going to go with your business based on the information that you're giving me. I'm not doing my due diligence if I sell you a Viper when you are not able to facilitate that kind of a purchase right now.
Well, Aaron can attest to this over our many years working trade shows together. I am notorious for saying, no, this isn't the right equipment for you. What you really need is this.
Yeah. And
that
as
we
a
don't
sales
sell.
manager, that was infuriating at times, but I knew in the long run it was the right thing. But
Those are the folks 3 years later come back to you and say, I know you don't remember me, but you steered me in a different direction. But now I think I'm ready to go here.
Yeah.
And so,
I see and hear that all the time. I mean, yeah, you're a great example of that, Terry, and it's obviously served you well throughout your time in the space. Such good stuff, you guys. This is great. Can we go back to? I like, as you were talking about something, it triggered something for me, and also wanted to get Ramona's comment here. Let's go back to the follow-up here thing a little bit. Terry, you talked about this in your scan, right? But Ramona said, as an attendee to events, when someone asks for me for my business card, there's a specific subject in conversation, I will jot a note on the back of the card regarding the subject, right? So 2 things there. We got some new cards at American Print Supply recently, and we had our designer guy work them up, and he did them, and he was super proud of them, and they looked cool. I mean, it was kind of a new cool concept, but they didn't look like business cards. Plus, they were dark on both sides. and we get the cards, and the sales guys are like, what in the heck are these things? This is terrible. I can't write anything on them for people. So yeah, we had to fix the cards and have a space on the back for, clear to be able to jot these notes. So I think that's interesting when you're designing your business cards. It might be a really cool look, but think about the practicality of it.
And don't make it glossy on both sides so you can write on it.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I like the people who have the metal cards. I don't know how they do that. Like, no, thank you. But anyways, it's not about business cards. The other thing I wanted to kind of share, Terry, you mentioned, making that note about specifics. So you remember the person and you can have that conversation. Angie was talking about being authentic and not making it about the sale all the time. Right. I think what happens to some people though, is they get overwhelmed, right? Like maybe it is a really great event and they do end up with a decent stack of cards or scans or things like that. And so one thing that I've done that's been really helpful is kind of template the follow-up, right? Like, okay, what's the general thing that I'm trying to get across? Make a connection, give them a link, let them know I'm here to help them, whatever that is. And I'll, utilize the tools available to us in AI or whatever to kind of set that email follow-up template. But then I always leave a section in there where, okay, here's where I'm going to personalize that email for that person. So we're talking, and hopefully, I remember this place in Johnsonville, Tennessee that we used to have breakfast or something like that, right? Like I'm just making something up right here. But what are your guys' takes? Angie, I want to get your take on that, right? Template. Wow, I'm not even able to say that. Making a template, but then kind of still making it individualized for them, personalized for them. So Angie, what are your thoughts there?
I think that, utilizing the tools that we have, such as AI is, it's definitely a time saver. Be careful with emojis you're using, be careful with bullet points. Please change up your emails so you don't get thrown in spam jail.
Yeah.
But I mean, I use sequences for a lot of things. Here we use Mixmax. It's a great tool. It keeps me out of spam.
What's it called?
Mixmax.
Huh. I'm not familiar with that one. Okay. Thank
It's
you.
I didn't know about it till I started with UX. And honestly, I can set up sequences in there. I can see live feeds, who's opened it, who's replied, which ones have bounced, and it's been a time saver. HubSpot's a good one. You can set up a lot of different email sequences and just kind of let them go. So I have one running right now. I sent some sample packs out, sample packs of shirts. We do free samples, and I set a follow-up email for those. And I do the same thing for my business. Once I've touched base, I send these follow-up emails to sequence over 20 days, or I send 5 emails out at different periods of time within 20 days during the week between 8 a.m. and noon, not on Mondays, not on Fridays. We're doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And just kind of getting in front of them. They might not see the first one. They will see one by the 5th one, or they will recognize the name and click on it just so I will stop emailing them. And that's what I found is persistence is key with the follow-ups. I might not have time to deal with your email at this specific moment because I am slammed at work. And it's not that I don't want to reply. It's just that I can't in that very moment. I'll forget about it. And then you send me another email and I might have, 10 minutes to reply to that one. So, and it's not that we don't mean to reply to them. We just get busy in the course of the day. And, flagging stuff in your email for follow-up. If you're using Salesforce or any of those tools, definitely, notate as much as you can in there. But, figure out a good way to set up an email sequence that will save you time and it'll change your life. And you can go in there and you can edit the very bottom of it or the very top of it, and you can personalize it.
Yeah. I love that.
And just make sure you're using like tagging stuff and, using your greeting. So, your greeting where they're going to grab the first name out of it and put their first name in the email. Don't just send messages like, hey there, or hey, or hi. Don't do any of that stuff. Put some effort into it. Find out what their name is. Call them. Have your brother call them or your sister call them if you don't want to call them and you forget their name. Just figure out a way to remember their name and make sure you save it. Save people in your inbox.
Yeah.
If it's someone that you want to work with, add them to your address book so it doesn't get lost in anything. And then you can just go in and easily just search for it.
Yeah. Yep,
You
you're
know,
right. Go ahead,
I
Jared.
was just going to say our show last week after Thanksgiving that we had pre-recorded is about automation, and it's not about robots. Just doing pre-built emails is automating your business, automating what you do.
Yeah.
But 100% go in and personalize that message as well. So.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. Yeah, I mean, we've got the tools available to us, right? Like we've got a contacts list that, contacts.google.com. I'm pretty sure, you can keep track of all these people if you don't have a, fancy CRM. We don't need all that stuff. I love that. Yeah, that's cool. Thank you for sharing Mixmax too. So Eric, always being on the spot like he is, has got that in the comments there if you guys want to check that out. I use an email sequence tool called GMass. And so what I end up doing is kind of list, again, I leave that section for personalization, and then I can have it basically send the emails, but it sends them to my draft folders. And so then I can go in and just get each one of them and bang it out and be done with the emails quickly. So very cool. All right. Well, we're all over the place here. That's my fault. Nobody's surprised. I want to go back to the networking thing. Angie, you had talked a little bit about, you got to pump yourself up. I know Monster is going to be one of your recommendations, but I'm just kidding. But maybe not. I'm not a fan of walking into a room with a whole bunch of people I don't know and trying to put myself out there. Right. It makes me pretty nervous. What advice would you give people that are in that same boat, right? How do you make yourself feel a little bit more comfortable walking into a situation where you're going to be putting yourself out there and networking?
I just try to remember that everyone has had a first day. Everyone has had their first year in business, and it doesn't matter where you're at in your business journey. Someone's already been there. And people are more apt to respond in a more helpful way if you are just raw and authentic and just walk in there and just walk in smiling. Everyone is going to look at you when you walk in. So you just walk in with confidence. You don't have to feel confident, but you have to appear confident. Just walk in, find your people. And this is like no secret for people that attend the same trade shows that I do. I will walk in and I will know who's in there. So if it is a like an after hours networking event, Stalls does one in Atlantic City, and I will walk into that room and I will find Dave or Josh or any of them that I know and I've had contact with already. And I'll walk up to them and just be like, hey, how's everything going? And they're like, oh, great. And I'm like, there's a lot of new people in this room. And they're like, yeah, let me take you over and introduce you. And that was a big help in the beginning. And then now I just you just kind of become the life of the party when you walk into the room because you know people and you get comfortable after a while. I tell everyone, like, if I am at a trade show and I put in Print Girl Mafia where I'm at, I put on my socials where I'm at. If you are going to an event and you do not feel comfortable, you can call me, text me, find me at that event. I will walk you around and introduce you to whoever you need to. I do not want anyone to walk in to a room or an event or anything and not feel confident and comfortable in that room.
Yeah.
So just find your people. If you don't have people, whoever's putting on the event or, a key person, just walk up and be like, hey, this is my first time here. And they will just kind of, take you, with them, and they will just start introducing you to random people, and you're not going to remember half their names, and that's okay because they don't remember half the names either that they meet. So just find people, and
If they're putting on the event, they have to talk to you.
Exactly. I'm like, that's where it is. And if you can't find anyone that looks available, they always have at least a soda bar, if not, an open bar at some of the events. They always have snacks. Just go get a snack and just start randomly talking to the person next to you. And wow, the food looks great. And then you're in. It just takes one word. You're in.
So, Aaron, I wonder what that's like walking into a room and being the life of the party.
I don't know. As long as there's chicken wings, I'm normally pretty good. So,
All right. Well, so you've already talked about Mixmax. What other tools or even habits that you follow help you to manage industry relationships?
Trade shows are very important. Like that has been the forefront of my business is attending the trade shows, because so much networking happens during those events. The craft shows too. That's when you see everybody that, we all kind of travel in packs to all these craft shows. So it's people that you see on the regular, but also just, making sure you're adding people on social media too. Because that's how you kind of keep up with everyone throughout the year. I just say, figure out what works best. I have one of my friends, he owns a print shop in Pennsylvania. He doesn't have social media, but he will text me religiously every single week and say, hey, how's business? How's life? How's everything going? We bounce off ideas off each other and find what works for you. If you don't like social media, then don't add people on social media. If you have a group text going, that's great. Join Facebook groups. Facebook Lives are great. Figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. But I highly suggest these trade shows. Like
nice.
they are a game changer, and I would not be where I'm at right now if it was not for me showing up. And, the first year I was shy and timid and didn't really say much. I met Dave from Stalls. I met Aaron. I did ask questions and I was genuinely interested.
You did sit in the front of the class too, which, that's always a good place to start too. If you
Well, I had to
flip
take
into the back,
notes.
that's not always going to be great.
Listen, I was sitting in Aaron's class. I had to take notes because I had already learned about Aaron ahead of time. And then
good thing or a
Dane,
bad thing.
well, I mean, yes, it was a good thing.
Okay.
And then Dane's class, someone said, hey, you have to hit Dane's AI class.
Yep.
And Dane's art classes. And I was like, okay, front row, because I need to pay attention. I have ADHD. I tell you guys this every single time I come on here. If I sit in the back, I'm be on my phone, I'm be drawing on my iPad. I do take my iPad with me and I have my pencil, my Apple Pencil, and I'm drawing and writing.
Yeah.
And the trade show notes, you guys put together PowerPoints that are extremely helpful after the fact. So yeah, just kind of like my first year, I was a little about it. And then the second year, I'm like, I'm back. Hello. How is life? And just walking in there, just being loud. And just having fun with it. If you cannot have fun in this industry, you are not doing it right. If this is not fun for you, then figure out how to make it fun. Because when you are standing in front of a heat press or a printer or you're screen printing for 15 or 16 hours out of 24 hours, you've got to find something enjoyable out of it.
Absolutely.
My advice to all my kids as they went off to college was always sit in the front row, always volunteer to go first, because it's a person who goes first and that's speaking or whatever, everybody feels compassion for you because they haven't gone yet. So, it worked out for all of them.
Good.
Yep, absolutely. All right. We're getting towards the end of our time here, Angie. This has been great as usual. But as you know, we always like to see if we can pull one last golden nugget out of you. So I guess leave us with an actionable step listeners can take, like let's say this week, go do this week to be more intentional with their networking.
And it's Friday, so.
Okay, next week.
Friday.
Thank you, Terry. Good point.
Okay, so here's your actionable item for Friday. Over the weekend, make a list. Don't make a list of things right now. Don't write down your first 5 thoughts. I don't write down my first 10 thoughts. I have 50. My list has 50 actionable items. Why is important? Am I going to do all 50 of them? Absolutely not. I'm not going to do all 50, but I have a list of a running 50 because there are things that on those days that I don't know what to do, or I'm kind of in a funk with my business, or I've sent emails and I'm not getting replies, or I've hit voicemails for 3 days in a row now and not a single person has picked up their phone, which happens, especially this time of the year. I go to that list and I pick something different off of it. Some of them are wild and crazy ideas. Some of them are a little bit more reserved. Some of them are just, hey, when I'm at the grocery store, I'm going to go put my business card up on their little community board. Yep. If I'm not feeling social that day, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go take it, put it up on the board, maybe put 3 of them up there. I don't know. And just kind of let it go. If I'm really in a funk, ChatGPT is my best friend. I will go in there and I'll say, hey, listen, I know business is going to be dead from January until May. I just did this last night, by the way. Go in ChatGPT and just tell it how you feel or where you want to go or where your jump start is. Like, where do I need help? And they will get you started. Now, please proofread it. Make sure that if you do any images, you're proofreading those to make sure spellings are correct, because sometimes technology is great, but it's not perfect. And utilize the tools that you have to your advantage. In 5 minutes, I have an entire deck of what's going to happen for 6 months out of next year. Did I put thought into it? Yes. I did a very specific prompt to it. But did I put the effort into it that I would have if I wouldn't have had the tools available to me? It would have taken me probably 3 weeks to put it together. So just, think about where you want to be and don't set yourself on a hard deadline. Those are stressful. You don't need any more stress. Just say, hey, I want to accomplish this by end of Q1. In Q2, this is what I want to do. In Q3, don't do September 20th. Because September 20th is a crazy day. It's a crazy day here. It's a crazy day with my print shop. We're in the weeds and everything. Like, we are just so far behind on everything. Yeah. So allow yourself the quarter to accomplish something.
Yeah. I love it. I have to tell you, I felt a little misty when you said make a list, because I'm a huge make a list guy. Yeah. I just do 20. I don't do 50, but I love that. Yeah.
It's, I tell it, and when everyone asks me what's on your list, like I was talking to one of my friends yesterday and he goes, you need to make a list. I said, it's in my brain. He goes, no, it's not. It's lost. You have it in there, but it's lost. Pen to paper, speech to text, notes app on your phone, ChatGPT, make a list. It doesn't matter how it works for you, but just writing it down and having those in black and white, that makes a big difference. And I used to not be a make a list person. It was all in my head and I have it and I don't have to worry about it. But it's not. You forget about it. You lose sight of it. And you're thinking about other things, and your mind is a very busy place, especially now in this day and age with all the technology we have at our fingertips. And making that list where you can cross it off. I don't know about you, Terry, but when I start that second line item that I cross off in a day, I'm like, yes, I made it. We did it. We did something. We accomplished something today. We didn't just run around like crazy people. Their heads
There's
cut
nothing
off.
more
We
satisfying.
accomplished something. Yes. Get a good pen, get the color you want. If you want it to be glitter, if you want it to be erasable, get your favorite pen and just start pen to paper.
Yep.
I love it.
Ramona says, junior yellow legal pad and a good pen carried around with you. There you go.
Exactly right. Awesome.
Absolutely.
All right, Angie, we're running out of time. How can our listeners reach out to you?
They can reach out to me at UX Print. So I have uxprint.us/Angie. Gets you over to the website. That gets you some contact information there. You can reach me at Angie at UX print.us or That Shirt Shack on any social. We have TikTok, LinkedIn. I have, what else? We have Instagram, Facebook. I have all the stuff. I have all the socials.
Oh, that's so cool.
So, just reach out however you can, and I will help with anything that I can. Questions,
Right.
follow-ups, anything. I'm an open book. You guys
Yep.
can always reach out to me.
All right. For all of our podcast listeners, that's UX, like what used to be Twitter, UX print.
Yes.
Yes. All right, you guys. Thank you. Angie, as usual, just loads of golden nuggets. Thank you so much. I know we got another one in 2026 on the books already. So looking forward to that
Yes.
already. But thank you so much for your time here today.
Thank you.
See you later.
See ya.
Awesome.
Yes. Yeah, really good stuff. Always love talking to Angie.
Always great stuff with Angie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
And usable.
Yeah, exactly. Like
everyday
it's
usable.
practical, right? I mean, I'm already going, okay, I gotta go figure out Mixmax this afternoon. I didn't have that on my schedule, but we're gonna make that happen.
I'm definitely gonna go check that out.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Terry. Well, before we start wrapping up here, we've got the secret sauce still coming up. But we also are in the last week of Reggie voting. There's some tight races still from last time I checked, but if you go to tworegularguys.com/Reggies, REGGIES, that will get you there. You should also see a banner at the top of our website and just click on that. And you can go in and vote. Terry, the voting ends on December 11th, which is, if you're watching live right now, that's a week, Thursday of next week at 5 p.m. Central Time. It's a hard cutoff date. That way it gives us
no begging after.
Yeah, no digging after, right? That gives us a little window. So we try to round up all of the winners and get them on the show the next day, which will be next week, December 12th, Terry. So
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, we'll start reaching out. So if you're one of those people that is being voted for, and maybe you're towards the top of the list, please make sure that you reach out to me or know that I can send you an email so we can get you the details. Sometimes that's the hardest part, is like getting everybody rounded up to come on the show on the 12th. So
it's funny because sometimes we don't get anybody, and sometimes every winner comes on the show. So we're rolling the dice.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. So we're looking forward to that. I can't wait to announce those winners and celebrate everybody that, again, celebrate everybody that is raising the industry. You know, people like Angie. Angie's on the voting list and whatnot. And so really good stuff across the board here, Terry. And that's what the Reggies are all about. Just recognizing everybody coming together and a rising tide lifting all boats. So, all right. So you guys check that out. Make sure you vote. Make sure that you share the Reggies with your social media channels. You know, Angie's on all of them. So hopefully she's sharing them on all of them, just like you guys should be. But Terry, I kind of starting to fill up. You're already talking about 2026 here a little bit. What's happening for you? What's coming up here?
All right. I'm going to be participating in an Equipment Zone webinar on DTF, DTF UV, and adding a cutter to the process. That's going to be January 9th, probably 1 o'clock Eastern. We haven't confirmed that. Details to come. I'll be in the Equipment Zone booth at Impressions Expo in Long Beach. That's January 22nd through 25th. And my complete screen printing business course, my first class of 2026, will be March 21st and 22nd with Atlas Screen Supply in Chicago. You can sign up for that at atlasschreensupply.com and watch for all my upcoming events at terrycombs.com. How about you, Aaron?
Love it, Terry. Make sure you guys check that out. So the thing I'm most excited about right now is we've announced its launch. We've already got people signed up for it. So we're limiting it to 13 business owners that are going to be welcomed into the Business Builder Accelerator program. It is a 12-week experience where we're going to turn overwhelm into clarity and just work together on building a business foundation that'll be built on your strengths, your values, and your passions. So if you're somebody that's maybe feeling a little overwhelmed, want to kind of take back control of your business, right? Your list of 50 things, you haven't figured out how to give yourself the grace to not try to get all 50 of them done each day, so to speak. If that's you, please check that out. You can sign up. You can reach out to me at consultaaron.com. I didn't get this in the notes, but you can also go directly to the website with the information, which is osg.link/builder. So either one of those, just reach out to me. Everybody that signs up, I have a conversation with them first, because I've got a complete money back guarantee on this. If you get done with the 12 weeks and you don't feel like you're in a better place, that you're less overwhelmed, no questions asked. I'll just give you all your money back and apologize for wasting your time if that's the way you felt. But I really don't think that's going to be the case. But that's why I want to have a conversation with everybody, to give them all the nuts and bolts of what's going on, and just make sure that it's a fit for them. So yes, thank you, Eric. osg.link/builder to check that out. And then the other thing I've got going on, Terry, is on Saturday, tomorrow, if you're watching live, but every Saturday I do Small Business Saturdays, and it's at noon Central Time. And tomorrow we will be discussing the fact that you don't need more plans. You actually need clarity, and we're going to discuss how to get that clarity. So, obviously, you guys know me. I love talking about the mindset of it, because I know once we get our mindset right, all of the practical things kind of take care of themselves. But I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. Kind of, how do we shift from, okay, I've got the right mindset. Now, how do I really kind of grasp onto that clarity, and what do I do with it? So that's going to be our discussion tomorrow at noon Central Time. You can check it out at liveosg.com, which will just take you over to my YouTube page, and make sure that you're subscribing, hitting the like button, all of the things the kids say. And so you can also then search and find all sorts of other amazing topics that I've been able to share and discuss with folks about business and mindset and tips and tricks and everything that I've learned in my career. So I'm excited to share that tomorrow, Terry.
Awesome. That sounds great.
Yeah. And then Eric, I know we talked about this before we came on air, but I will give this my best shot here to speak in Eric speak here. You did a really good job at the intro part of it. So this afternoon, Eric has got episode 238, Line Defining Stitches in Machine Embroidery. In this episode, Eric is detailing the way we create lines and columns of stitches, from running bean and backstitch to specialties that we use to get thickness and texture, to the way we can manipulate the ever-present satin stitch. So he's going to discuss what we do when details become too much, lines become too thin, and when the combination of line width and color selection just can't be solved no matter how much you compromise. So definitely a show as an embroiderer that you need to be like. Again, you guys, I don't know if you're an embroiderer and you're not watching this, why? This is like college level training for free every Friday. So go over to ericcampbell.com and check it out. You can find the Take Up tab at the top there, and it is live on at 2:30 Mountain Time, 4:30 Eastern Time. So you can even join in, ask questions, share your thoughts and insights. So make sure you guys are checking that out. And then Eric will also be teaching, probably have the Eric Campbell wing there at the Impressions Expo, but the Technique Toolkit is back, and will be there in Long Beach. It's coming, which is coming sooner than we think. Yes, every time I think about it, I'm like, no, it's not. No, no, but we're there. We're there. Okay. Long Beach is right around the corner. So join Eric, Joe Kramer, Justin Armenta, Katie Wubin for a 4-in-1 workshop all about creating looks for B2B commercial embroidery that rival the retail look and move beyond boring commodity work. So you can register for that at the link you see on screen, or you can click on it there. You then use the promo code SPEAK210, and that will get you 20% off your full conference passes for that show. So check that out. I know Eric's got at least one, maybe two other sessions there as well, I believe. So you don't want to miss Long Beach this year, Terry.
Absolutely. We will all be there together. So we would love to, if we haven't met you in person, we would love to meet you in Long Beach and get to know some regulators face to face.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that. All right. Well, are we ready for some secret sauce here, Terry?
We are. Let's hear from Eric and his secret sauce, and he has to push his own buttons.
Hey folks, today my secret sauce is about digging into daunting embroidery digitizing, and you know the situation, right? Avoidance tactics aside, you know you're going to have to digitize the design that's in front of you. Your customer's text said they were figuring out a full back embroidery. You hoped it might be big, but otherwise uncomplicated, but your hopes got dashed. Dominated by tiny details, gradients, contours, and tiny text, you're staring down well over 300 square centimeters of excruciating detail, and it's no surprise that the hours of unblinking effort in your future can make you feel a little bit of dread. No matter how many years I spent salvaging jobs like this when other shops wouldn't take into difficult design, I always feel a drag on my determination when I see this time-consuming stuff in front of me. For those who assume it's some special inborn quality that makes you able to grind away at these things, these gargantuan works bother all of us, and there's a truth behind it that should come with a little bit of comfort. Anyone who can do a small and similarly detailed piece can easily conquer these larger pieces. Skill makes it possible to digitize, but to take on large and difficult pieces requires a systematic approach. If you can rationally analyze your design, portion it into these actionable sub-tasks or sub-design elements, and take some repeated measured actions toward the completion despite that internal resistance, you can overcome daunting, large, or overly detailed designs. Despite that initial reluctance, a process-based approach and perseverance will let you make progress on any outsized or outwardly difficult digitizing project. Let's start with analysis, right? So the first step in any embroidery should be the careful assessment of your customer's expectations. You got to know the desired design size, garment specs, their willingness to compromise, when you have to make changes, and you have to have a solid sense of what's most important to the customer. All pertinent details from that initial interview come into play when you're analyzing the art. Examine the design carefully, imagining the stitched surface of the final decoration with all of this in mind. The thing is, your core decisions are going to be made now long before you digitize. How many and which colors to use, whether or not you're going to use applique or specialty materials, where the design and the individual elements need to shift, where they need to start and finish in sequence, what details must be altered, removed, or replaced. These things should be explored before you ever set a single stitch. So I like to look for what I call obstacles and opportunities, right? So note obstacles, areas with difficulties, gradients, overly dense detail, small elements that won't stitch cleanly, places that are likely to distort, thin outlines that require tight registration, as well as opportunities, areas where applique can cut down stitch count and density, symmetrical elements, repeated stuff, which we're going to talk about again in a second, things that can be digitized and reused, text that can be executed with keyboard fonts instead of doing them manually. Know where you're going to be fighting the design and where the structure might save you some time. Then you got to start stacking up solutions. Match your catalog of obstacles with potential solutions. Note which details are essential and which can be removed following from these customer notes, or requesting clarification as necessary from the customer, especially with these really difficult designs. Determine how tiny text can be reorganized into more open lines, upscaled without damaging the look of the design, or a typeface change might render it more legible at size. Look up previous files in which you handled similar challenges to those in the design if you're kind of confused on where to start. Be ready to show your customer this arsenal of ideas to justify detail changes, alteration of details, and any other corrections. If you can address the issues in the design and get buy-in for the customer on them, you can be confident in your choices and reduce the nagging doubts about the approval or the need to rework your digitizing, which is really where you start to lose time. Next, we kind of deal with parsing the design. Break the design up into workable pieces, right? So parsing, it's key to making any large piece feel more manageable. You only have to convince yourself to stay on task long enough to take one element on at a time. This provides natural breaks and a way to easily gauge your progress as you work, as well as reducing your natural resistance to the huge task at hand. It's much easier to commit to 15 minutes than a week of any sort of task after all. More often than not, once you've gotten past the initial resistance, you'll hit a flow state that will have you working longer and more engaged fashion. So what we need to do when we're starting to get this going on and really digging is to visualize the sequence first. Start by visualizing the sequence of stitching for both sensible, efficient sewing and proper overlapping in texture. Your obstacles and opportunities kind of analysis will help you to reveal areas that might need extra attention, such as those requiring that tight registration, special orders of colors for certain types of shading, or those pieces that could save effort through symmetry or repetition or copying and pasting. This will guide you in parsing your design to these sub-designs that you can execute along the path to the finished piece. There's some benefits to breaking up designs, right? Beyond the aforementioned stopping points and the progress checks, they can actually have functional benefits for stitching. If you've got areas that have really tight registration, that have underlying filled elements, you can complete them as a unit or in quadrants or in areas of the design. Sometimes stitching everything that's in an isolated area can help it stay more tightly in registration as you don't move away from the existing element and move back, letting the design warp, stretch, and the material move in between the parts of the stitching sequence. Sometimes completing that single area before moving on, even if it means additional color changes from revisiting those colors, can keep you from that higher risk of losing registration the longer and further you travel from the initial stitching. So if you've outlined letters on an unstable hat, you really know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you just have to drop that fill, drop the outline at the same time, move, and just suffer the consequences of a couple of extra color changes, because the stresses of embroidery on an unstable span, especially when we're talking about big jacket backs like this, which sometimes can be hard to hoop, can cause considerable shifts in position when we move around in the hoop too much. Next thing, that's symmetry we talked about. We want to seek symmetry. Designs that feature symmetry or repetition really parse easily. If something is the same on both sides that has bilateral symmetry, that can sometimes be created by executing one half, then mirroring and reproducing the results. One can even create one multicolor element repeating set and later condense the number of colors by resequencing and digitizing connecting stitches for each thread color when you go. Copies can be placed in their proper location and then resequenced. It's not always a solution we can use, but sometimes it can really save labor and enhance a design's sense of internal continuity when there's some variation otherwise that could creep up. Next is execution, right? So with colorful analysis, digitizing, actually getting into the drawing of the elements is not as difficult as it is just tiring. The hardest part is maintaining focus throughout the process once those decisions are made. You'll encounter areas that make you reverse earlier decisions, but these new obstacles become side trips on the established roadmap put into place by that analysis you've already done. When you're encountering such a reversion, save to a new separate file before you make changes. Make versioned files. Trust me, you'll be happy you did. Stop and define the new obstacle, decide on your solution, and plow forward. With an unassailable backup file in place, you can experiment, digitize throwaway elements to test theories, separate an element from the design and tweak it, or return to your earlier work if all else fails. Take advantage of the inherently digital nature of our work by saving multiple versions of your file and allowing yourself to play with new solutions. Don't be romantic about the work you've already done. Unfortunately, we have to kill our darlings. These things cannot be sacred. If you have to rework or eliminate an element to move forward, save a new file, cut it away, and go. If you remember your overall path, you'll be able to pick up the trail once you solve the problem. Save often, take breaks as needed, and dive back in. And to finish this kind of up, we need to start thinking about how we're going to make this work. First, we replay and revise. You got to do what I like to call the pre-flight. With digitizing done either on a sub-design or the entire piece, it makes sense to replay your designs. So sampling monster designs is time-consuming. Make sure you use your slow replays, your film strip mode, whatever sort of design that is called, or whatever sort of tool that's called in your design software. Replay that file and watch it stitch digitally. It's your time to find accidental copy-paste errors, poor placement of start and stop points, and to identify places you could travel under a later element for pathing and stitching rather than stop and trim and jump. Gross errors are easy to see at this stage. You'll see your copy-paste errors. You'll see things where you have bad colors and sequencing. You'll see things that are completely out of place. Have a method to take notes handy and identify the areas you'll need to address. Review, identify, repair, and repeat. It's better to catch these flaws now than in hour 2 of a 4-hour round of stitch outs. Lastly, stitch and evaluate, right? With all of this careful work, it can seem like stopping even a single head production or full sample is a waste. But trust me, wasting a multi-head run of garments is a much worse thing than wasting the time. Ask me how I know. Always run your design on materials analogous to the intended garments, so something that's very much like it, especially with something that is expensive and time-consuming. The color, the fiber, the weave, and the stabilizers should match in your sampling material, especially with these heavier or complicated designs, because they just need to be exactly what you're going to run on, so you know that the stitch out is going to match the result on the actual garment. Evaluate that first stitch out and go through the same editing and sampling process if you find major flaws. And frankly, at the end, you're just going to have to do it again. You can be forgiven for feeling like this article is mostly common sense, right? As much as I agree, I've counseled so many digitizers struggling with large pieces that were stuck on one of these common sense steps that I still think it's useful. And honestly, even I am reminded of things while I'm reading this out to you. The only real medicine to make you less likely to struggle with large and difficult pieces is repetition. Each attempt generates experience, knowledge, and confidence. Take the risk, revise and repair, and use the lessons that you've learned to fuel your next large format embroidery adventure, shall we say. Let's call it that. These pieces may always feel challenging, but conquering one of these massive designs can prove your capacity to take on pieces of considerable scale in the future and help you reduce that dread. And that's my secret sauce for today.
All right. Hey, my takeaway was right at the beginning, and it's pertinent. It's powerful for any decorator. The first step should be the careful assessment of your customers' expectations. I love that, Eric. Awesome as always.
Absolutely. All right, Terry. Well, what a great show today. Great to have Angie back, and we appreciate her coming on and sharing her knowledge of what she's learned and learning, continuing to learn. So great tips today, Terry. So appreciate her being here. Make sure that you guys go to uxprint.us. I think that's tough. UX and then US, but that's why we want to alliterate as much as we can here. So uxprint.us/Angie. Make sure you go /Angie so you can get connected with her.
Awesome. Can't wait to talk to Angie again in 2026 and, of course, out in Long Beach.
Absolutely.
We also want to thank our show producer, Eric Campbell, for keeping the show moving and also coming on live to share a great secret sauce with us today.
Absolutely. Great stuff there. So thank you, Eric. Terry, next week, big week, we get to announce the Reggie Award winners for 2025. And I always love doing that. And looking at the races, like I said, there's some close ones out there. So we don't know for sure. Make sure you guys get over to 2 Regular Guys. That's the number 2 regularguys.com /Reggies, REGGIES.
Awesome. And if you haven't voted yet, go over there right now and get it done because you're just going to forget.
That's a good call. Good point, Terry. Thank you for that.
All right. Until then, I'm Terry Combs. He's Aaron Montgomery.
And that was the 2 Regular Guys.
Here we go. We're out.
Awesome.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of 2 Regular Guys. We're here because of listeners like you, and we're so grateful to have you on this journey with us. For more valuable insight, be sure to visit our website, 2regularguys.com, and join the conversation on our Facebook page. And hey, if you or someone you know has expertise, a unique perspective, or a story worth sharing, we'd love to have them as a guest on the show. Just reach out. Remember, success in this industry isn't just about the equipment you own or the techniques you've mastered. It's about the mindset you bring and the connections you build. Keep learning, stay curious, and don't be afraid to think differently. Keep pressing on, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the 2 Regular Guys.